Today on Stock Charts in Focus, we're making sure that you're staying ahead of the latest market action with the dashboards. Now you might notice I said dashboards plural because today, for the first time, we're actually going to explore the dashboards in a couple of different places. Your dashboard, the main one that you see when you log into Stock Charts, what I like to call the heart and soul of the site. But we're also going to jump over to ACP, take a look at how you can create customized market dashboards over in our new advanced charting platform. So lots to explore today on the show. Of course, you know what it is. It's all new. It's all here. It's Stock Charts in Focus. All right, my friends, welcome to the show, Stock Charts in Focus. Of course, our product focus show here on the channel where we dig into the site, dive into the features, show you around the tools, and help you get more value out of Stock Charts. That is our mission on this show every Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, up on the live channel, but also up on our YouTube channel after that, and the on-demand platform at StockChartsTV.com. Lots of different ways to watch. My name is Grayson Roze, Vice President of Operations here at StockCharts.com. So good to have you on what I think is going to be a very fun, very timely episode. Now, this is kind of something that we've done in the past. We spend a lot of time talking about your dashboard, what I like to call, as I said, the heart and soul of your Stock Charts account. This is the first page that you see when you log in. There's a lot of customizations and changes that you can make to really make this page work for you. We touch on that quite a bit because as this being the main page that you see when you log in, we're always hitting it on the show. We're always coming back to it, using it kind of as a launch pad. So we typically touch on some of the different features of this page, this all-important dashboard page. But it's been a long time since we've done really kind of a dedicated deep dive into all the different tools and features of this page, the customizations you can make, preferences, all of that good stuff. So I wanted to spend a little bit of time doing that on today's show because, as you'll see, this is really where I watch the markets and where a lot of our contributors watch the markets, where a lot of our users watch the markets. The dashboard is a very, very powerful page that has a ton built right into it with auto-refreshing data. So you can always come to this page during the day. Once you've set it up, kind of customized it to be your own, you can always come to this page during the day. It's a very, very helpful market analysis resource to check up on the markets. The other nice thing is that it actually scales across all of your devices. So you can log into the website on your phone, pull up the dashboard, and you get a very customized layout right there on your phone. It's a great way to watch the markets during the day when you're out on the go. Also works really well on your tablet, of course works well on your desktop, your laptop, any screen. The dashboard will scale to fit that. So it's a great page to use. As you're going to see today, there's a ton that you can do with it. But one of the new things since the last time that we did a big dashboard deep dive, one of the new things that's come about is ACP and the evolution of our new interactive advanced charting platform. So we've taken a lot of those features from the dedicated dashboard, your dashboard, that first page you see when you log in. We've built a lot of those features right into ACP. Of course, the benefit of that is that you also get charts alongside those dashboard features, really advanced charts that you can start to customize. And now with the addition of multi-chart layouts, you can really start to build some incredible market dashboards in ACP. So we're going to take a look at all of that. We're going to run through the dedicated dashboard, your dashboard, that first page you see when you log in. Then we'll actually jump over to ACP to you around some of those same features over there. I will say we are going to absolutely fly on today's show. We're going to run through a ton. And it's really not about sort of diving super deep into all the little nitty-gritty details of everything. This is mostly about showing you what's there, giving you an opportunity to kind of see what you can do. And again, all of this is really something that you should explore on your own because these features that we're going to talk about, customizing the dashboard to fit the way that you want to watch the markets, this is really all about tailoring Stock Charts to work for you. So it's my job on today's show to show you what's there, and then it's your job to go explore this, see how it can fit into your process, see how it can fit into your routines, and see how you want to customize everything to really fit with the way that you want to watch the markets. So without further ado, let's jump over to the site. We're going to start from your dashboard and we're going to dive in, show you all the different tools and features that you can customize on this page. All right, folks, so we are on your dashboard. Now, as I mentioned, this is the heart and soul of StockCharts. It really is. It's a fantastic landing place, sort of a jumping off place, a starting place, because you do, of course, you get logged into this page when you first sign into the website. This is going to be the page that comes up, first page that you see. But you do also have access to all of our different tools and features around the website through this member tools section. So our first stop on today's little tour, as you can see, we've got a note here that says scroll for more. When you're hovering inside of this member tools panel, you can actually scroll down this and access any of our different tools and features. So if you want to get to a different feature like the sector summary page, for instance, maybe you want to pull up the scooter reports, you want to jump over to predefined scans, all of those different dedicated tools and features are right here for you in this member tools section. So it's a very, very helpful place to come and sort of browse through some of the features and then actually access those. You can do a lot of that also from the charts and tools page. That's another one that we talk about as kind of a great directory of all the different things that are there. But right from the dashboard, don't forget you've got this member tools section, which is a very, very helpful place to find different tools and features around the site. Now, before we jump into kind of the meat of this page, I want to actually touch on the top right corner, because this is where we have some buttons for accessing different features of this page. But most importantly, this is also where we have a button for starting to customize this page. So up here in the top right corner of the dashboard, you'll notice that I have 3 buttons: ChartLists, Scans, and Alerts. Now, if I click any of these buttons, it's automatically going to scroll me further down the page to either the ChartList section, the Scan section, or the Alerts section. So this is very, very helpful for navigating to your chart list, for instance. When I come to the dashboard and I want to jump right to one of my chart lists, all I have to do is give this button a click, and you'll see that automatically scrolls me right down the page all the way to all of my different chart lists. Now from here, I can access anything, any of my portfolio lists, scan lists, any of my stocking lists, anything that I want to do. And of course, I can pull up any of these and view those in a specific sort of view, a specific look. So those buttons will jump you right down the page. They're very, very helpful for sort of quick access to 3 of our most important features. Of course, that's chart lists, scans, and alerts. Now, right next to those, though, is a little blue gears button. So we're going to give that a click, and we're going to talk about this because this is how you start to customize the dashboard. So when you give this preferences button a click, you'll notice that a window pops up that says dashboard preferences. This is how you can customize the panels that show up on your dashboard. So we've got a couple of different options in here, and we'll briefly talk through all of them. I'll actually show you how to turn these on as well, because I've got one turned off. And then as we're going through the dashboard tour, you'll see all of these in action. So first up is our additional data panels row. That adds 3 more customizable data panels to your dashboard. Now, if you're on a wider screen, that's going to be a row of 3. If you're on a narrower screen, those 3 additional panels are going to be stacked on top of each other. But as you'll see, you can customize each of those panels to bring in different things like the market movers, the ticker cloud, maybe the decision point reports, anything that you want to see in any of those panels. You can configure each one of them, set them up kind of differently. I'll show you how I've done that on my personal dashboard setup in just a minute. Now, the scans and alerts row is another one that you have available to you. So if you are a scans and alerts user, if you're using our technical scans tools, our technical alerts tools, this is a great one to have on your dashboard. If you don't use those tools, though, you can actually shut off that row. And so there's a little window that allows you to access your scans. There's a window that allows you to access your alerts. Those can be shut off if those are features that you don't use. All you have to do is uncheck the box here next to scans and alerts. Next up, we have our additional chart list panels. Now, these 2 chart list panels show up, again, right next to each other, or on a narrower screen. They're going to be stacked on top of each other. But they allow you to bring in sort of a quick view for 2 different chart lists that are important to you. So if you've got, for instance, a chart list that's got everything that you own in one of your portfolios, maybe you've also got a chart list that is your watch list, the things that you are kind of actively stalking in the market, new opportunities that you're keeping an eye on, you can pull up those chart lists right on the dashboard and actually get sort of summary data for everything in those lists. You've also got a couple extra features built into those as well. So you'll see that in action in just a minute. But that chart list panels row is another one that you can turn on right from here. Now, the other option that you have is our commentary row. So to show you how these work, all you've got to do to turn on one of these rows is just make sure it is checked. With our commentary row, as you'll see, I'm going to turn this on and save my preferences. You actually get an articles feed from our articles page, all of our experts writing those daily articles on the site. That'll show up right on your dashboard. And you get the StockCharts TV live player right on your dashboard. So if you want to watch StockCharts TV or even just listen to StockCharts TV right from the dashboard, you can turn on this commentary row and you'll have access to those features. So once you've made your changes here in the dashboard preferences window, you've checked all the boxes that you want, all you've got to do is hit Save Preferences. Now, quick note about storage, quick note about where this is saved to. These preferences actually, for a good reason, are not saved to some sort of database. They're not tied to your account. They're actually just saved to the browser that you are working out of. So the benefit of that is you can set up your dashboard differently across different devices. For instance, in my case, I have a laptop that I work off during the day. That's my primary machine, but I also have a tablet and I have a phone. And I might want things set up a little bit differently from device to device. So because these settings are actually just stored in the browser that you're working out of, you can set up your dashboard differently across those different devices, and they will be sticky for that browser. What we mean by sticky is that when you come back to that same device, come back to that same browser, those settings that you've set are actually going to be there. When you go to your phone, though, for instance, they might not be there. So you're going to have to set up things on those different devices. But that is helpful for sort of customizing things across different devices depending on what you want. So a nice little note about storage there, kind of where these things are stored to. Now, we've covered how to set up some of these preferences. Let's take a look at how some of these features actually look. So right up at the top of the page is one of the panels that you actually can't change. That is one of the most important ones, though. It is our market overview panel. As you can see, you get a little mini chart. You get a summary of the major indexes, things that we want to track, like the Dow, the S&P 500, small caps, mid caps with the S&P 600 and 400, even things like the VIX down here. And if you want to change what the mini chart is referencing, all you've got to do is click on any of those indexes to update that chart to the one that you want to see. So a nice, helpful way to sort of breeze through the markets, see what's happening. Of course, a pretty ugly day. We're filming this here on Friday. Pretty ugly day in the markets, especially for the NASDAQ, continuing some of that action we've seen in the last few weeks. But you can see it all here. And this is nice because it's a 2-day chart. So that little line is going to show you where today started. You're also going to get to see yesterday's action on this chart, and it evolves over time. So this chart sort of gets filled in as the day goes along. So a nice little way to keep an eye on the markets. Again, this is something that scales down to your smaller devices. So if you are watching the markets from your phone, maybe you're out on the go, this panel actually looks pretty good from your phone. I like to use it just to kind of check in on the markets. I'll just pull up my dashboard, quickly see what's happening across those major indexes and get some little charts. Nice way to watch the markets. You do have some tabs across the top here, so you can switch over to what's going on in the bond markets, see what's happening with different yields. You can see what's happening in the commodities markets, and you can even jump over to the crypto markets, get a quick summary of some of the major digital assets over in that space as well. Now you've got links down at the bottom for some of our primary tools. So if, for instance, you clicked over to the S&P 500 and you wanted to pull up a full featured chart of that, you've got some different options here, sharp charts, gallery view, P&F, seasonality charts, those kinds of things. You can actually access those right from here. Of course, if you wanted to jump over to the full market summary, you've also got that right here. So a nice little panel to work with to kind of follow along with what the major markets are doing. And of course, like I said, if you want to jump over to the full summary that's got all of the different indexes, all the different corners of the market, you've got a quick link right there with the market summary link. Now to the right of that, if you are on a wider screen, you've got your first configurable panel. Now, I have personally set this up with the sector summary in this space because I kind of like to think about the markets from the top down. I like to start at the highest level with the major indexes, then think about what's going on at the sector level, then think about what's going on at the industry group level and the individual stock level. So in my case, you can see there's kind of this flow from market overview to sector summary, and then down into, with our configurable panels down here, down into the stock level. So I've set this up with the sector summary. And again, because this page is sticky, that's going to be there for me when I come back. What I mean by configurable, though, is that when you open up this little more link in the top right corner, you can see that you have a ton of different options for what this panel shows. So by default, your dashboard is always going to have one panel here right next to the market overview. But again, you can turn on that additional row using that preferences window. You can turn on that additional row of data panels, and that's going to give you these 3 extra panels down here below. So when you select something from here, that's what's going to be sort of sticky. That's what's going to be saved. All the different settings, how you've set that up is going to be basically saved to that panel on that device in that browser. So these are all of your different options. You've got the sector summary, market movers, scooter reports, ticker cloud, predefined alerts, and our decision point signals as well. You can swap between any of these and they will be sticky. For instance, if you wanted your DP signals up here, you could change that to DP signals for the NASDAQ, for instance, and all of this is going to be sticky. Now, these are really easy to move between. So there you go. We just pulled up the DP signals. Now we're back to the symbol summary, the sector summary. You can see how easy it is to kind of navigate between these panels. So if you only want one and you kind of want to just manipulate what that panel does, that is perfectly valid. For any of these data table panels, by the way, you can always hover over the symbol and you'll get a little mini chart of that, in this case, that sector, for instance. We're looking at the staple sector. I hover over XLP. Now I've got a little mini chart of what's going on there with staples. So a nice little feature there, being able to get those mini charts. By the way, you might have just seen that this page refreshed. As the day goes along, this page refreshes every couple of seconds. So you can actually watch the markets from this page. It's a totally valid place to kind of get new data pouring in as the markets are active, markets are open, and things are changing. So anyways, moving on. In my case, I've set up the sector summary right here. That's my next panel. These are full data tables too, so you can sort them. And you do have, in this case, a link to the sector summary down below. Now, I've set up my next couple of panels with the market movers in the S&P 500. So I want large caps next up. Then I want mid cap. So I've set up a market movers panel here with the S&P 400. You do have a couple of tabs in these cases, most active, what's really kind of moving the markets, also percent up and percent down, and any of these settings are, again, going to be sticky. So I've set this up with 2 market movers panels, but again, each of these ones totally customizable. Maybe you want scooter reports here in the middle. You can flip between the different scooter groups. You can get the top 10, the bottom 10, the biggest gainers and biggest decliners there in the scooter reports. Flip between large cap, mid cap, US ETFs, anything you want to move between. So you've got all of these options, and again, you can set these up to really kind of match the way that you want to watch the markets. So again, giving you a sense of kind of how I've set things up. I personally like to have 2 market movers panels there, and I like to keep the middle one on the mid caps. So I'm kind of watching large caps and mid caps there with the S&P indexes on my dashboard. Next up, I have the ticker cloud. Now, the ticker cloud is a very, very fun tool. You can actually click this little popular symbols link. That'll open up the full ticker cloud, the full featured standalone tool. But the ticker cloud gives you a sense of what is most popular on StockCharts. We have got millions of people surfing StockCharts at any one time. And so using the ticker cloud, we can see what those other users are searching for. It's kind of a crowdsourced model of activity in a way. So I like to see what's popping up on the ticker cloud, what's leaving the ticker cloud. There are some things that are always here. For instance, Apple, pretty much always in the top left corner. That is a symbol that really never goes away. But it's always interesting when you see new things pop up here. For instance, a lot of discussion right now around Peloton. So we've got Peloton right on there. SoFi popping up. We've got Shopify popping up. So always interesting to keep an eye on what's happening in the ticker cloud. So I like to have that one next up, kind of as a way to search for new symbols and things that I might want to click on. When you click on any one of these symbols, it's going to open up a chart in a new tab. So really easy to jump over to a chart of any of those that you actually want to sort of dive into. Moving on, next up we have our chart list panels row. So in my case, I kind of hinted at this earlier, I've got a chart list with all of my different positions in it, all the different things that I own at any one time. I keep that up to date, but that's the one that I like to have on my dashboard. It gives me quick access to all of the different things that I own. Now I can paginate through these so we can jump around, see all of the different stocks and funds and everything. And I've got price information here. I can sort these by, for instance, percent change if I want to see, what's really moving in my portfolio, what's really lagging in my portfolio. And of course, we've got our little mini charts feature here so I can get a quick chart of anything that I own. We can also jump right over to the symbol summary page. And for any reason, if I wanted to delete something out of one of these lists, I can actually do that right from here. So these chart list panels, again, just give you kind of a quick summary of lists that are important to you. Now you can customize these. You get two of them, by the way. So in this case, I've got my watch list over here on the right. So portfolio and my watch list, those are kind of the two lists that I like to keep an eye on. These are very, very easy to configure. Again, you look for that little preferences icon. In this case, it's up in the top right corner of this panel. We give that a click. And what we can do is just select the list that we want to see. So this is going to pull in all of my different chart lists. So I could change this to a different chart list. For instance, here I'll change it to my 10 I'm stocking list. You can see that now this has changed. And again, that's going to be sticky. That's going to be saved to this browser. So very easy to configure these in just the way that you want. You just hit that little preferences icon, hit update, and you're good to go. Again, you get two of those, and you can even add symbols to that list. You can set a symbol and a chart name. So it's really easy to kind of keep working with those lists right from your dashboard. Nice way to keep an eye on the things that you really want to see. Now, next up, we've got our scans and alerts row. This is where you can actually select a scan, run it instantly, or edit it. So a nice feature here for all you scanners. This is something that I use a ton. Again, I'll use that button up at the top of the dashboard, jump right down to my scans, and for the especially the scans that I run every single day, this is kind of where I run them from. I just select a scan, for instance, new all-time highs in the S&P 1500, something we've run on this show many times. I'll select it right from there, hit run, and I'm off to the races. I don't actually have to jump all the way over to the scan workbench, kind of see the syntax, and then go through multiple steps there. You can just run things right from here. You do have quick access as well to the advanced scan workbench right here, the standard scan workbench if that's something of interest to you, and of course our predefined scans page, a very important resource. If you're not familiar with that one, definitely check out the predefined scans page, a very helpful one. So you've got quick access to those, and you can always create a new scan right from this button as well. By the way, this does tell you how many scans you have used. So in my case, my account is a pro account, so I've got 45 of my possible 500 scans used. Always nice to kind of keep track of those numbers. Next to that, you have an alerts panel. Again, similar idea. You can create new alerts right from here. You can jump over to see all of your alerts. But the idea with this alerts panel is just a sort of a summary of the alerts that you have set in your account. Again, kind of just like those chart list panels, this is going to be paginated, so we can sort of flip through all of our different alerts, and we could click on any of these to edit it. It'll also tell us when this last fired, and that's actually what this is going to be sorted by. So it's going to be sorted by the most recent alerts that have gone off. So nice quick access to your alerts right from there. Now, next up, we have our commentary row. Again, this is the one that we turned on. We've got our articles feed right here, so you can actually see the most recent articles that have been posted to the site by our experts. For instance, we've got something here from Greg Schnell that was posted about an hour ago. We've got an article from Tom Bowley posted an hour ago. So this gives you sort of a quick preview of the things that have been popping up on that articles feed, on the articles page, and you can jump over to any of those articles just by clicking the title there or the little read more link. If you want to jump over to the entire articles page, kind of get the full view there, you can also jump over to that by clicking on this see all link right at the top right corner. So always kind of nice to keep an eye on what the experts are writing. Even if you're just kind of breezing through headlines, it's nice to have this on your dashboard. Now, I am not going to click play on this because that'll give us some funky feedback here, but we do also have our StockCharts TV player. So if you wanted to watch StockCharts TV right from the dashboard or just listen to StockCharts TV, if you want to kind of have this page open in the background, be able to kind of keep an eye on what's happening in the markets and hear what's going on StockCharts TV, you can always hit watch live right there, and that'll actually play StockCharts TV right from this page. You can jump over to the new episodes page from here, of course, and this player does give you all the full featured capabilities, the VCR functions going back and forth in time, pausing, starting, stopping, all of that good stuff. So lots of the different ways to watch StockCharts TV. This is another one right from your dashboard. Now, below that is another one of the most important features of this page. This is your chart lists. We put it at the bottom because this is typically one of the largest blocks on this page for a lot of people. For instance, you can see that I have 245 chart lists saved to my account. So this is quite a long list. So that's why we put it at the bottom. But it is one of the most important. Now, here in the chart list panel, you've got a couple of different things that I want to make sure you are aware of. First and foremost, by the way, we are going to be bringing your ACP chart list to this page very soon. Right now, this is just your Sharp Charts chart lists. Those ACP chart lists kind of live only in ACP, so we've kept them over there, but we've had some requests for bringing those to the dashboard, so we're going to be doing that pretty soon. Keep an eye out for that. But right now, for all you Sharp Charts users, this is a great way to access your chart lists. So again, you get your little number there. You can see 245 of 500. You can see how many you've used. You can get a full list of all of your different chart lists. This is a great place to come to just see all of the chart lists in your account. It also tells you how many charts you've saved into each one of those, which is always helpful to see. So I like to keep an eye on how many charts are actually in a lot of these different lists. Always an important number. You can access any of these chart lists by opening up that View As menu for the specific chart list that you want to see. And this is going to give you quick access to the summary view, 10 per page, chart book, all the different chart list views that you have. The edit page, a very important one for working with those chart lists. So you can jump over to any of those views right from here. You can also click on the name of the chart list to jump over to your default setting. Now, what do I mean by your default setting? You can actually configure where this link goes. So up here, again, top right corner, we've got our little preferences icon. And you can see when you open that up, it says chart list preferences. So this is going to set your default chart list view for the chart list panel on your dashboard. So in my case, I like to view most of my chart list in summary page first, summary view first. That's kind of the place that I like to start with. All the price information, market cap, something actually we just brought to the summary view, market cap, scooter score, sector and industry classifications, all of that stuff, right in kind of that data table view. That's how I like to view my chart lists first. I can always jump over to the charting views, but that summary view is kind of where I want to start. If you wanted to view 10 per page first, though, or chart book first, or any of these other views, whichever one you use most, whichever one is most important to you, you can set that right on here. So all you've got to do is choose the chart list view that you want as your sort of default. You hit Save Preferences, and now every time that you come down to this chart lists panel, and you click on the name of one of your chart lists, it's going to jump you over to that view. So for instance, in my case, if I click on the name right there, you'll see that I jump over to the summary page because that's what I had set as my default. So a nice little feature there. You can actually sort of customize how you access your chart lists right from the dashboard. The final feature that I want to make sure you're aware of before we jump over to ACP is the edit function. So if you wanted to delete multiple chart lists at once, maybe you installed a chart pack and you want to get it out, or you've created a couple of scan lists and you want to get those out of your account, you can always hit that little edit button right from the dashboard chart list panel, and you can see that these little check boxes will turn on there. So hit edit, check any of the lists that you want to delete, and then when you scroll all the way to the bottom of this list, which in my case is quite long, here we go. If I check one of these, you'll see that the delete lists button pops up. That's going to be hidden until you actually check something. But you can bulk delete lists from the dashboard using that little edit feature. While we're at the bottom, by the way, you can create new lists from here, or you can also manage all of your chart packs. So chart packs, an important way to add chart lists to your account, charts from the experts that have been sort of pre-created, pre-organized for you. Chart packs are a very cool feature. We've covered that on the show in the past, but you can manage those chart packs right from this page. You can hit that Manage Chart Packs button. That'll jump you over to the chart packs page. You can take a look at all the different chart packs that are available to you. Some free, some paid, kind of like our ACP plugins, but a great way to enhance your StockCharts account there with chart packs. So final little feature to point out here on the dashboard. So we're going to scroll back up. That is really our tour here of the StockCharts dashboard. Again, I like to call this the heart and soul of your StockCharts account. It is a page that I spend a ton of time on. I know our other experts do as well, our other contributors do, and many of our users, many of you spend a lot of time on the dashboard. Make sure that you've spent a little bit of time configuring this page, customizing it, making sure that it works for the way that you want to watch the markets. There's a lot that you can set up here, and it's something you can change over time too. My sort of dashboard configuration has evolved. I've sort of moved to this place over time by trial and error, setting things up in different ways, seeing what I like, seeing what I don't like, and changing some of those panels around. So always fun to play with your dashboard settings. Make sure that you're setting this page up to really work for the way that you want to watch the markets. Now, we are going to jump over to ACP to finish off our show. We're going to fly through ACP because a lot of the features that we've talked about here on the dashboard, a lot of the ideas that we've covered also are available in ACP. So we're going to jump over there now and we'll tour you through how some of these dashboard features have been integrated right into our advanced charting platform. So here we are in ACP, our new interactive advanced charting platform. If you're not familiar with this, highly interactive, highly dynamic. You can move things around your charts, scroll through time, move things up and down, configure your axes, really kind of manipulate your charts by hand. It's almost as if you can reach out, grab your charts and really start to work with them as if they're just right in front of you. So very cool what we've been building with ACP, and it has evolved over the last couple of years. Something that we brought out last year, kind of early last year, and it's really just been continuing to evolve in many different ways. So when you first come to ACP, this is kind of how things are going to look. You're going to have a big chart in the middle. You're going to have your left sidebar open. This is where all of your different chart settings are. You can change color schemes. You can create chart styles and save those to your account. Also access sample styles that we have pre-created for you. This is where our annotations panel lives as well if you want to draw on your charts. And something that we're going to touch on, this is where you have customizable layouts. You can actually create layouts here in ACP with up to 12 charts on the screen at once. You can also save those to your account. You can choose whether you want to save those without symbols, so they're just kind of a template, or if you want to save specific symbols to a layout, you can also do that. Most importantly, we have sample layouts here in the sample layouts drawer, sort of section of the sidebar there, and a lot of these have symbols saved to them. You can see that we have a lot of kind of market dashboard layouts. So that's something that we're going to combine with the dashboard views on the right side of the screen to create some pretty cool market dashboards here in ACP. So we'll close this sidebar down for now. To close that down, all you've got to do is click on the symbol there on the left side. Now we're working with just a big chart in the middle. But that panel that we had on the left side of the screen, we have sort of a cousin to it over on the right side of the screen. So all these icons over here on the right side of ACP are also sidebar panels. By the way, you also have a drawer at the bottom that you can open up. You can also customize the height of this menu if you want to shrink it down a little bit. You can open that, you can close that, and you can shut it totally off using that button at the bottom. But this, as a first place, is your access to your chart lists here in ACP. So if you want to access any of your chart lists, you've got kind of that full featured summary view, sort of like we were looking at there in the Sharp Charts world. You've got that full featured summary view for all of your chart lists, all your ACP chart lists down here in the drawer. You also actually have your Sharp Charts chart lists here in ACP as well. If you open up this menu, you can scroll down and there's actually a Sharp Charts section there. So all of your Sharp Charts lists have been kind of imported in an ACP version right into ACP automatically for you. So you can access all of that using the drawer down at the bottom. But when we're talking about some of those dashboard features, things like the ticker cloud, the market movers, the market summary, many of those have been integrated directly into ACP. So we're going to take a look at how you can do that using the sidebars over on the right side of the screen. So the one up at the top, by the way, is your chart list. You can access that. That's going to be the sort of the first one that you open generally. You have scans and in the sidebar over here on the right as well. So just like we were looking at scans from the dashboard in sort of the Sharp Charts world and the standalone dashboard, you can also run those same scans right here in ACP using the sidebar on the right. So we're kind of starting from the bottom of the dashboard in a way. We've got your chart lists built into ACP. We've got scans built into ACP. And the next one up, by the way, you can also run predefined scans, very cool feature. But the next one up is your alerts. So you've got all of your custom alerts that are firing off. And down below that, we also have predefined alerts here right in the right-hand side of ACP. So a couple of different kind of dashboard tools that we've brought over into ACP there, your chart lists, your scans, and your alerts. Now below that, we have our little globe. And some of these icons are going to be familiar from the dashboard outside of ACP as well. So when we open up that little globe panel, this is our market summary. So here's where you can see we're starting to bring in some of those dashboard views right into ACP. In this case, we have our little market map, kind of the heat map with large, mid, and small caps, and then growth, core, and value right there. So we can see, again, pretty tough day in the market, especially for large cap growth. Tough day to see there. But we've got that heat map there, a nice way to visualize the markets. Below that, we've got our equities, bonds, commodities, and crypto tabs, and the same list of symbols that we were looking at on the dashboard. Now, again, you can click on any of these to get a chart of that symbol. And in this case, what's very, very cool about ACP and some of these dashboard views is that they will open up full featured charts, very advanced technical charts, right there next to the dashboard view. So instead of opening things in a new tab, kind of as the other dashboard does, you can actually get things right here. So for instance, if I wanted to see the S&P 600, all I've got to do is click on S&P 600 right there. You can see that this chart has now changed to be $SML, which is our symbol for the S&P 600 small cap index. And so we've got a full featured chart right here of the S&P 600. So it kind of makes these dashboard views even more interactive here, being able to click things from the sidebar, bring them over right into the middle of the screen. Now the same goes for bonds and commodities and cryptos. Anything that we wanted to click here, we can just give it a click and it's automatically going to load that symbol right here in the middle of the screen. Same goes as well for these little heat map symbols. So in this case, we're looking at SPYG, that's the S&P 500 growth, large cap growth. We can give any of these little squares a click and that's actually going to load that symbol right here in ACP. Now down below that, we've got even more market summary information. So we've got the major indexes here summarized. We've got the sectors of the market. Here's kind of our sector summary that we were looking at, those sector ETFs all plotted right here. And again, we can click any of these. We can see, for instance, what tech is doing, heading dangerously close to its 200-day moving average there. So we can see all of these. And again, all you've got to do to pull in a chart of any of those from the sidebar is just give it a click. Here we've got Dow components, everything that's in the Dow, and you can always close those back down just by hitting the title again. So all of these different groups are available to you here in our market summary panel. This is another great way to watch the markets. If you're an ACP user, spend some time really getting to know this market summary panel. There's a ton there and it is a very valuable resource. Next up, we're going to keep flying through this. We've got our market movers panel, and just like we were looking at there on the other dashboard, we've got most active, top gainers, and top decliners for a whole bunch of different indexes. So the major market indexes here, we've got the Dow, the S&P 500, the NYSE, the NASDAQ, the S&P 400 and 600, also Canada, also London and India as well. So you can select your market that you want to see the market movers for. For instance, here we're looking at mid caps. We can look at the most active mid caps on the day. We can see that it is a lot of red here. We can also look at top gainers in that mid caps group. And again, really easy to just kind of breeze between these. You can shut those back down, open them up, shut them back down, just kind of move between some of these different sidebar views. And as always, you can always click any of these symbols to get a chart of that right in the middle. Whatever chart you have up in your screen, by the way, that's what's going to get used for this. So it's basically just going to pull in the symbol and throw it into whatever chart you have up in the middle of the screen. Now, next up below that, we have our scooter reports. We were looking at this in the dashboard. We showed off how you can use that scooter reports view to see the top 10, the bottom 10, top gainers and top decliners for all of those different scooter groups. One little step forward that we've made here in ACP is you can also see the entire ranked group. So if you wanted, for instance, to see all of the mid-cap stocks ranked by scooter from top to bottom, you can select that all ranked group and you'll get all of those right here in the sidebar panel. And again, you can click any of these to get a chart of that symbol. So a nice way to review scooters right here in ACP. Now, another one that I use a ton, the ticker cloud. So again, you can click on any of these, get a chart of that symbol. For instance, now we're looking at Apple. Here we'll check out Costco. This full featured ticker cloud, actually quite a lot bigger than the one that we have up on the dashboard. This is the full ticker cloud, just like the standalone page that we have outside of ACP. But you've got that full ticker cloud here, popular symbols among StockCharts users. A really, really nice way to work with the ticker cloud there. And always interesting to see, what's popping up, what's big, what's small, what's new, what's off, all of those different things. A very fun feature to play around with here in ACP, the ticker cloud there in the right side of the screen. So there you can see a couple of those different market dashboards. Again, sort of configuring ACP, working with ACP to see what's going on in the markets. And as I mentioned, you can combine some of these different sidebar views with layouts to get some pretty incredible market dashboards. I wish we had a whole nother hour on this show to really dive into that, but just to give you a sense of how this can work, we're going to open up our layouts over on the left side of the screen. And by the way, you can save all of these layouts. So you can see at the very top, we've got our Your Layout section. I've saved a whole bunch of layouts to my account, but we also, as a starting place, have tons and tons of different sample layouts for you to go and play around with. So loading these layouts, very, very simple. For instance, we can load the intermarket analysis layout here, one that I love to see based on John Murphy's approach. To load that, all we did was give it a click. I'm going to shut this panel down so we have a little bit more room to work. Now we can set our range. Let's say we wanted all of these to be 1 year charts. So here, now we're looking at our sort of classic intermarket view, John Murphy's approach to the markets. We've got oil, commodities, bonds, the dollar, stocks, all on one screen, and we can see some of those key ratios. So here we are looking at bonds versus stocks, we're looking at gold versus stocks, we're looking at commodities versus stocks. So this sort of customized sample layout here, you can load this in. You've got all of your symbols there in that multi-chart layout, and then on top of that, you've got your market summary over on the right. So this is where you can start to create some pretty powerful ways to watch the markets right here in ACP. You could do this for other views, like for instance, we've got our major market indexes here as a sample view. So here you're looking at the Dow, the S&P 500, NASDAQ, and the NYSE. That's another sample. And you can start with these, customize them to your liking, and then just come down to the bottom of this panel, hit save, and you'll actually be able to save that as your own layout. So again, these are kind of starting places for you. They are full featured layouts. They are great to just use kind of right out of the box if you want to do that. But if you also want to customize them, it's a great way to sort of get up and running with layouts, starting with those sample layouts and then starting to make them your own. But when we talk about market dashboards here in ACP, this is really how we can do it. We've got our sidebar views over on the right, and then we can start to use some of these dashboard features in the middle of the screen to create these kind of ongoing market dashboards. Very, very cool what you can do. And really, this is where you get to be creative. I mean, the sky is the limit, what you want to do with these multi-chart layouts. We've got tons of them, again, up to 12 charts on the screen. So for instance, here is one that we have a sample layout for all of the S&P sectors plus the S&P 500 itself. So this is another way to come and watch the sectors. Here we can see 1 year charts of all of those. And by the way, if you turn on the crosshairs, those will actually apply across all of the different charts on the screen. So some pretty powerful tools here in ACP, combining that with the market summary, just tons that you can do. And again, really an opportunity for you to get creative, go customize some of these layouts, build things, and have fun building some of those dashboards there in ACP. So I know that we absolutely flew through today. We covered a ton, a bit of a longer episode because we're covering sort of different corners of the site. But hopefully you had some fun today touring around some of the different corners of these dashboards, setting things up. Hopefully you've seen some of the different preferences and configurations that you can make to really, again, start to tailor stock charts to the way that you want to watch the market. These dashboards are really how you get to sort of make stock charts your own, and they're incredible ways to watch the markets. Really useful tools every single day to be able to follow the price action, see what's going on, not just in the equity markets, but also across bonds and commodities and the crypto space. So many different ways you can use these tools to watch different corners of what's going on in the financial markets. Now, I do want to remind everyone we do this show every Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Stock Charts in Focus is up on our Stock Charts TV channel, but also on our YouTube channel after that, and of course the on-demand platform at StockChartsTV.com. So lots of different ways to watch, but really every Friday we're just sitting down, exploring the website, talking about different ways to get more value out of Stock Charts. We'll be back next week, of course, for another episode of Stock Charts in Focus. But until then, chart on, my friends.
Hey guys, Dave Keller here with StockCharts.com. Thanks so much for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, and we hope you did, hit the like button right below. Also, we have so much new content every day. Consider subscribing to the channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the video or right below. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Have a fantastic day.